Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We're actually doing really well. This is our second recording session, and we're on iTunes, so that's a big deal.
We're on iTunes. We're also on Spotify. I know how much you guys love Spotify. So if you, review us.
Review us. Please give us just even if you don't love the podcast and you're not going to listen to it again, just be like, you know what? I'm going to help two women get a little 5-star review. Boom.
Yeah, because it really does. It pushes us up the algorithm. Also, we do release a week later the paywall episodes on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So always subscribe to that and interact. We look at the comments. I do.
We
it on
love
a
the
daily
comments.
business.
I multiple times I look at it. So I'm like, I wonder if there's something new.
It makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's really nice. And we've had some great comments so far. So thanks for everyone who's been commenting and interacting on the YouTube. And then, of course, we also have our Patreon if you want to get some bonuses.
We do. Yeah, we do. We're going to do a lot of we're throwing a Christmas party. It's going to be about the perfect spread and also like inviting guests and all that stuff. So that'll be probably on the $20. What is that one called?
That's going to be during our that is our Voyager package. That's our full Voyager. So we have Weekender, which is the ad-free content uploaded once monthly, so you can do a little binge. Then we have our Traveler package, which you get access to the special bonus content. And then for the Voyager, we'll be doing a full party planning episode, including, maybe even confronting some of the guests at the party to see what they think of the spread.
Yeah, and this will be a star-studded event.
It
Some
truly
very
will.
Low-level feature acts.
Some people who have opened for famous people may be at this party. And despite the fact that Sarah's husband, Joe, will not like that we're incorporating content into the party, so we're going to have to do it in a way that's very covert.
Yes, a lot of, hey, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
I need to show you my downstairs basement.
Yeah, just say like, oh my God, I have something to tell you.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
people
somebody's
fall
been
for that
talking about you behind your back, and I need to tell you right now.
People fall for that all the time. It's a very...
These rubes.
If you cannot get somebody to call you back, just leave a voicemail being like, oh my God, I just heard the most interesting thing about you today.
Yes.
Call me whenever you get this.
Yeah, people are saying things.
Yeah.
That's what I like to go with.
Oh my God. And then
people are saying,
they hate you.
What's the email address for that booker? I'm just wondering. Well, your husband is out of town and my boyfriend is out of town, and we're kind of like two army wives.
We are
right now.
A lot of alone time.
A lot of alone time, a lot of time vacuuming the same rug over and over.
Yeah, I also had guests over. I had my brother here. I made an apple crumble.
Ooh.
But I really like it. I hope this doesn't sound like this sounds bad about my partner, but I do like to get to have my own time because I get to watch my own TV shows.
Yes.
I get to kind of like sit in silence.
Yeah.
And not have to do anything. And that's kind of
nice
feeling.
Well, it's nice to go into like a time of deep focus. That's what's nice about it for me, where I'm like, okay, I'm just working for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And part of my work is watching Love on the Spectrum. And but then, usually I miss my boyfriend. I miss him like really bad for about the first 3 days. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I can kind of enjoy it.
Yeah. And then you're like, I have to move on with my life.
You got to move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Find a new man. Get a new apartment. But yeah, it is. It's nice to have a little extra alone time.
Oh, definitely. And that, speaking of like, 'cause they're on the road, but we just did the road. Kinda.
We did. Yes.
And, I went back home, and this is my lady journey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to get right into
go into it.
Sometimes when I'm back home, it's a suburb outside of Houston. I like to go to the mall. And some of the, why am I having a hard time saying stuff today? But like, I love strip malls.
Oh, a strip mall.
Like
wow,
I like my
yeah.
Old Navy's, my Bed Bath and Beyonds.
Yes.
I like
a
TJ Maxx.
Ugh.
Because all the stores like Target and all that in the city are desecrated.
Well, first of all, they're tiny.
Yes.
The Target by where I live is like a mini Target, and it's like, okay, they have one candle.
Yes.
If you want a candle, you have one. It's like you can't just lose yourself in there. And, that's the whole point of going to a Target. It's like, I just want to stop thinking about how I'm going to die for like an hour and just get into like a pure sense of, oh, I'm immortal. I can buy as many candles as I want. I can buy, a diffuser. I can buy socks.
Luggage.
Just leave it all behind.
Absolutely. It's just like, I feel like it's weird that Target and all these stores, like, they really miss an opportunity of what's happening in their stores. It's really a place for women to decompress, and I think there should be more like cozier lounges.
Oh,
not the depressing Starbucks.
Yeah. There should be like a nail place in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. They would get you right in because you're like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah, I might as well just buy some of this stuff. But so I went to the mall, and the mall when you were a kid was like
glorious,
the most amazing place. But I do have to say, the mall is falling.
The mall
the American mall is no longer.
It is like
a
a
thing.
symbolism of capitalism spiraling out of control.
Yes.
I remember one of my earliest memories is going to the mall and going from like, the Airs, like LS Airs, into the mall part. And it was this just gorgeous blue light with a fountain and an atrium. And you're like, oh my gosh, is this the epitome of luxury?
Yes.
And then now you go into a mall and you're like, okay, there's the Gap that everything's on clearance.
Yeah, you're like, I'm like, this is an outlet.
It's an outlet.
This is an outlet Gap, and I feel cheated.
Yeah.
Also, I find certain areas of the mall to be depressing, where I'm like, why is this one area sad? It's like a store that never got their shit together.
Yeah, it's like a wet seal.
Like, or an off-brand wet seal, like an even cheaper version.
579.
Yeah, 579.
Oh
I remember a Merle Norman, which was like a knockoff Mary Kay to me.
Oh my God.
Or like sometimes in Texas they have just like the Texas store.
Yes, they have that in
no
Indiana
one's buying
too,
shit in there.
where it's like a leather hat.
Yeah.
It's not even like a cowboy hat. It's like a leather baseball cap. And it's like, who's
Jams.
buying this? Yeah, jams. Yeah, I remember too, like the food court used to be such like an experience of it's like, oh my God, it's Epcot.
Yes.
There's like
So
a
many
little
choices.
sushi, smoothies. There's like the Kung Pao chicken. There's pizza, and now it's like one Wetzel's pretzels, which those make me feel ill. Cinnabons, which it's like Cinnabons. Yes, it's delicious.
Yeah.
But the second you eat it, you're like, okay, something's wrong.
Yeah. It's heavy. Also, the cookie cake store. Are we still doing cookie
Oh my God.
cakes?
I love that place.
I know. I like cookie cakes, but I don't want any icing on it.
Oh God, I love that icing.
Do you really?
I love to get what I used to get when I was in high school. I would go to the mall and I would get 2 cookies with like icing in the middle of it and just
have a me moment.
Oh my God.
A little decompression.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like that will give you diabetes.
Yes.
One cookie.
Absolutely. And then also, this is a new trend in malls I've noticed. The psychotic kiosk salespeople.
Yes. It's like they intentionally hire the most like aggressive people. It's like you're selling Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
hair clips.
Like bonjour. It's like, okay, I don't want to learn French right now, please.
I'll be walking and I can see them all of a sudden, like they're coming out of their holes. And they've got these looks on their eyes like, ma'am, can I talk to you about what amazing oils that we have over here? Your skin looks a little dry today, and you're just getting completely.
Like, please.
In the past with these salespeople, it used to just be like, oh no, I'm sorry, but now you kind of literally have to be like, I need you to fuck off immediately. Get away from me. This is completely psychotic what you're doing to me.
I think there's some kind of like system that they teach them where it's like they don't take no for an answer. They don't. It's like
it's rapey.
It's a lack of consent based marketing.
Yes.
But there's another one too that's like a very kind of like underhanded marketing technique, and I notice people do this like in New York, like on the street a lot. Like, oh my God, I love your hair, and you're like, thanks, and they're like, by the way,
do you have a hairdresser?
Yeah, they're like, you're now obligated. You're like, what?
Oh, I did something really creepy. I didn't realize this, but I've realized this is a great way to get those people off your back. At the time, I actually was good friends with my hairdresser. I met her first, and then I found out she did hair, and she was really good at it. So this is one of their sales tactics that they do. They're like, "Ma'am, what do you look for in a hairdresser?" And I go, "Friendship." And the guy goes, "Are you serious?" And he stopped. Because that's like,
that's great.
That's a boundary that they do not like. Oh, I don't want that. Like,
you blew them out of the water.
Yeah, that's an intensity that they do not want.
That's hilarious. I'm looking for someone I can emotionally unload on.
To go on vacations with and talk their ear off while I'm in my chair.
Hey, how about my divorce?
Yeah. They're like, no, ma'am. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, see, I know this is like the time of the year too where you want to go to a mall because it's like that's the best place really to do like, you know, Christmas shopping and just go and get everything. But then it's also like this fun experience of, you know, getting to be in the mall. You see like Santa, you see the decorations. But now it's just like it's gone completely down the tubes. I used to go in Indiana to the mall. I loved it. Like, that was my big thing in high school. And that's like a generational thing, too, where it's like, oh, my gosh, like, meet up at the mall and walk around. It's like now the malls in Indianapolis have become so unsafe. It was like we had like the bad mall and then like the pretty good mall and then the fancy mall. And then now even the fancy mall is like the bad mall.
Yeah.
Because everyone just orders from Amazon. Nobody wants to go in there because... You know, it's like they had like a shooting. Like people were like, there was like a shooting in the Target. It's like, oh well, that's awkward.
No, it's become a very depressing day when you go to the mall now.
You go to the mall and you're like, oh, that place is closed. It's like, well, did I really think the card shop was going to make it?
Yeah.
No, but.
No. Or like the chocolate emporium where you're just like, this all looks like shit.
Yeah,
all of this looks like shit.
Yeah. Well, or like even you go to the chocolate emporium and you're like, okay, I guess I'll have 3 chocolates. And they're like, that'll be $16. And you're like, actually, this is why you're closing, Fannie Mae.
Yes.
Or is Fannie Mae the chocolate company? Is that the student loans company?
That's the student loan company.
Oh, I think it's Fannie's.
Oh, well, I was
With
thinking more
Fannie's?
like, I'm sure Fannie Mae has their dirty little fingers on everything.
I know. It's like they have student loans and chocolate and nothing in between.
Yeah. Did you ever get busted for shoplifting at the mall?
I actually did. I've never told you this before, but I shoplifted when I was in high school at a Sears. And I had a friend who was, he was doing like a little thing where he would ring people up, but he wouldn't actually ring you up.
Oh, we took a business down in the hometown that we were, every high school worked behind the register, and we just bought art supplies.
Yes.
Like hundreds of dollars worth of art supply for $5.
Yes. We did it a couple times, and then the last time we got caught, and then I had to go to like the little juvenile center in town, and I actually didn't realize this because, you know, I think like in retrospect, I'm like, what was I thinking? I don't know. I was just in with like a bad group of kids, but we shoplifted so much stuff on this particular time that it was actually considered a felony.
Oh, I think you only have to get over $500 or $1,000.
I think it's over 300 in Indiana.
And that's
the
not
bar is very
hard.
low for a felony, as it should be. But yeah, so I was with my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, well, let's just drive away, because they were like, you guys need to stop. We're like, well, let's just drive away. And then we were in a police chase. We were in like a huge police chase, and then we finally were like, well, let's just pull over. But I remember in my mind thinking,
you could have gotten like shot.
What in the hell was going on? And then, you know, luckily for me, it just looked like it was my boyfriend. And I was like, I think I was like 15 at the time. So I was like, I don't know what happened.
You're like, I'm being sold into sex trafficking right
help,
now.
help. And this poor guy, it was like probably my idea to begin with. It was my friend.
Yeah, there it is always when you get busted for shoplifting, when you really do find out how your friends behave.
Yeah.
in mall security.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know who your true friends are in mall security. And the day that I got busted, I found out who my true friends were that day. We weren't friends after that all happened because I felt like I got thrown under the bus a little bit and I took the fall. But I remember being like, ooh, you are dirty. Yeah.
my
Because you're
God.
like, this was a collective idea.
Yeah.
And you're the one that wanted to go back for more.
Oh my gosh. See,
Yeah.
that's bad friends in high school. That's something that's so like also unique to our generation, I think. Like having a bad girlfriend that's like, let's get a lipstick. And you're like, okay, oh my God, so naughty. And you feel like such like a rush, you know? But then it's like, no, that was a bad friend. That was a bad friend.
That was a bad friend. But I have to say that
I think I was the bad friend though.
me too. I look back on things and I'm like, you know, I did have a lot of friends that I did shoplift with. So I feel like I'm the common denominator.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that I grew up to be taught to do that. You just hang out with one person that does it and then you see how effective it is. And then you're like, oh, definitely.
You're like, ooh, I'm fighting the man.
Yeah, you
You
definitely
like turn it into like your own little like stance against capital. I'm a communist. It's like, okay, well, you don't shoplift in communism either.
Yeah, and
Dumbass.
also you're the reason why all the prices are being driven up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to deal
Oh
with
my God.
theft.
Because I shoplifted, I had to go, but the Sears, I was banned from Sears, so I actually cannot go in there now. So it's very hard for me to get a power drill.
Well, you know what's really funny? Joe used to work security at Sears, so
Oh my
he
God,
can
that's
tell
so
you. He
funny.
did loss prevention, so he can tell you everything. That could be a separate
I really
sidebar
love
for us.
Joe as a character of Lost, like the most kind of like relaxed security guard ever that's like, hey, are you gonna
Yes. Well, like when he talks about it, you do find this out. If you just deny, they're not cops. They can't do anything about it. So they
but we
kind of have
denied
to
it.
let
I
you
remember when I got
go.
caught, they did that. But we did have a huge bag of stuff that we didn't pay for.
Yes.
And the other boy got caught too.
Oh, it's so mortifying. I remember the last time I tried to attempt it was at a body shop, and it was over a soccer tournament, and I was like, I think I can do this again.
Yeah.
And I was just leaving the store, and this guy, like, he must have been probably less than 30. So sometimes you're just like, why do you care?
Yeah.
You know, like, is this your career?
Right.
It's just an eyeliner, and he stopped me, and he didn't do anything, but he was like, you need to turn that back. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
But
It's
after that,
embarrassing.
you're like, that is mortifying.
So mortifying. I actually shoplifted recently.
I love it.
But no, this was
lady
okay.
journey.
No, this is a misdirection, but this was by accident. And I blame this on this was right around, remember that that terrible thing that Roseanne was like,
yes,
she was tweeting, and then she blamed it on her Ambien, and she tweeted, I obviously would never repeat it, but right around this time I was really sick, and I was like rushing out the door to get to some road work. And you know, when you're like, you have to meet somebody, I was sick. I went to the 7-Eleven and I left, and I was like, I didn't pay for my stuff. But it was like an hour later, and then I was like, oh my God, it was the NyQuil. I took like a ton of NyQuil, and I had like a coffee in my hand, and then this is when, you know, like we're all doing bring your own bag. So I literally filled up a bag of stuff, then forgot that it was on my arm, paid for my coffee, and then left, and I was like, oh my God. Did I subconsciously? Yeah. I was like, I actually felt so guilty about it, because I was like, am I going back to my old ways from 30 years ago? Well, I wasn't 5 when I shoplifted, but let's say 20.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Shit happens. I've been double charged, so I say that it evens itself out.
Yeah.
But you can always make an amends if you want.
I thought about going back.
This is an amends.
This is an amends. I really want to apologize to the 7-Eleven in Ridgewood.
And
I thought about going
back. The person that
back.
works there doesn't care.
Well, I don't think that nobody even noticed, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, but that was the thing that I felt so embarrassed about. I was like, what if somebody had noticed, and that would have been like so, you know, especially as a white woman, to be like, well, I just forgot.
Yeah.
But it's like,
no
but
idea.
I'm on drugs. I'm on drugs. And even though at the time I was like, well, that's no Ambien. You think like Ambien, like what an insane excuse to like, accidentally show your racism. But I was like, oh my God, it happened to me.
Yeah, I understand now, Roseanne.
Roseanne, let her go. Let Roseanne go.
I love that malls.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
I'm being facetious. I just want to put that
Guys,
out there.
I will put a disclaimer on the very front. Whatever we say here is all jokes.
It is all jokes.
Never take us seriously on even when we are serious.
Even when we are serious, we're not.
Yeah. Do not trust anything that we say.
Well, I just feel like, I have to say a disclaimer because like, especially sometimes when you tweet stuff fully meaning for it to be satirical, people are like, how dare you? And it's like, oh my God, I would not say that.
Absolutely.
Who would say that?
Yeah, I think I talked about it on the last podcast. I talked about one of the downsides of COVID is my coffee order is getting fucked up. And people are like, and the deaths. And you're like, well, clearly.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're fun at parties.
Oh my gosh. They're just saying the number in front of you.
But I love that shoplifting is a lady journey, and that's probably a separate side topic that we came across.
Yes, I think it is. Well, it's interesting because this actually leads me into my journey.
Amazing segue.
Yes, this has been a recurrent journey for me for many years, which is getting together Christmas presents when you're broke, and which I always, because this is what always happens to me. It's like I do like pretty well throughout the year, and then between like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I just don't do a lot of road work. So I'm always like scraping together to get like Christmas presents for my family. And I always feel like bad. I'm like, here's a candle, you know? But I want to share some of my stories. Like there was one year, which I do find this pretty hilarious, even though this is kind of a shitty thing to do. But I gave my entire family, like whoever I just featured for this entire year, I was like, can I have that merch?
Yeah.
And I just I had like koozies. Someone got a shirt. Someone had like a bad like album.
Yeah, like a hoodie from Comedy on the State.
Yeah. Like I featured for somebody who like I don't know who it was, and I'm sure he'll never listen to this podcast, but he had like literally an album of like cat and dog songs or something. I'm like, I think my dad would love that.
He'd love this. Yeah.
So I had that's one of my tips.
It's so hard, though. I get annihilated during the Christmas season because everyone in my family was also born in December.
Oh, wow.
And you're right.
Can't skimp on birthdays.
No.
It's like that's always like the hard thing for the December birthday.
Absolutely. And you're right. Like, I don't get as much road work on the...
It's such a light time. I don't really like to do a lot of road work in the winter because it's like you never know when like a blizzard's gonna come up and then it's just like you're stuck.
Yeah,
you have to drive 12 hours you have to like drive to Montana to like make it to the show. It's like no, I can't. It's too stressful.
Well, it's also like I don't like traveling with 100 gifts with me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, as much as I try not to support Amazon, that's all I'm doing.
That's the thing about Amazon. And it was so easy last year because you just like order it and have it sent to the person.
They also gift wrap it. You can write a little note. It goes automatically there and you're like, I don't have to deal with any of this. And
then some of the stuff that you want, some of the indie stuff that you want, actually, you have to either get it through the person's website, and it's like $30 more or something.
God.
And then you go. So it's like, it's so bad. But this year I did pretty well. Spoiler if you're in my family listening to this, which thank you to my sister-in-law who is subscribed on Spotify, and also to my mom who's been listening. When I went to Aruba earlier this year, I was like, I had extra money and I just bought like a ton of like little soaps, like Aruba aloe stuff, all that stuff. That's what I need to do is just buy it all earlier in the year, go to my parents' house, bring it when I visit, and then like then later at Christmas I'm like, oh, okay, I have like a little treasure trove of gifts in here. I can give anybody whatever.
Yeah, I find like gift giving to be kind of stressful because you kind of have to do research. You have to put a lot of thought, and I don't like to put a lot of thought into things.
You do. Otherwise it's just like, here's a lotion.
Yeah, who do you think is the hardest to shop for in your family? I find my mom, or when both my parents were alive, like when my dad was
Oh,
alive. We
yeah.
were like, because they hit a level where they actually you just keep getting them the same thing over and over again
You know,
each year.
my mom is so funny because literally anything I get my mom, it could literally be like this, like
Yeah.
this charger. My mom's like, I love it so much.
I love
She
that.
loves it. And like if my dad gets her this, she's like, okay. So it's so
What am I
funny.
supposed to do with this?
Yeah, so my dad will make me go with him to pick out stuff for her so it can like be from both of us.
Yes.
So she's so funny in that way. But I think like my brother is like pretty hard to shop for because it's hard. You want to get something that's like, you know, they'll like it, but it's also something that you are like excited about.
Yeah, because sometimes people will be like, "Can I just get this?" And you're like groceries. You're like, "Come on."
Yeah. Can you just give me $100, which is what I actually really need because I kind of need to pay my power bill. And you're like, well, how about a chess set? Would you love a chess set?
That you can hawk.
Yeah. Just pawn it.
Yeah, I know. Getting Joe gets a lot of like swag. Is it swag or swag?
I think it's
Free stuff.
Yes.
For podcasts, and sometimes I'm like, I'm just regifting that.
Oh yeah.
Because like I can't. There's nothing I can do it, and I don't want to throw it away. Sometimes when we get stuff, I'm like, is this going straight into trash island in the middle of the ocean? That's
Yeah.
another thing when you go buying gifts that I do ask myself. I'm like, is this something that they'll truly like and need? Or is this something that will eventually just be in the trash a year from now and a big burden for this emotional burden for somebody because they don't know what to do with it?
Yes. And then it's like 50 years from now, they're like, I don't know. My friend's dead, but I have this Skankfest flask that they gave me.
Yeah. When you're like, I don't even drink. And Skankfest logo is not like a decor that I'm into.
Really? You're not into Suicide Girls? That's not your aesthetic?
Not on Lady Journey.
Do you have tattoos, by the way?
I do. I have 2.
You do?
And
I
I
did
have
not know that about you.
I love this is another Lady Journey.
Oh my God, this is such another Lady Journey. But
This is a bad Lady Journey.
We're going to have to not go down that Lady Journey right now.
Well,
We're
that
gonna
can
have to
be
stay
that's a
on
bonus.
gifts. That's a bonus. That's a bonus.
Oh, so join our Patreon.
Join our Patreon to hear about Sarah's hot tats and also mine.
Do you have places that you're like love to go for gifts that are easy? I like getting lots of small stuff.
Yes, I do like that too. Especially, I actually love to go to just like Macy's and just go to like the makeup counter there and just get like, you know, for all the women in my life, it's like face masks, a little blush, a little like maybe like a lipstick. I just get all that type of stuff for all the girls in my life. And this year, in Flatiron, they have that store where they have all, you know, those cheap like face serums.
Yeah. Like those Korean skincare line stuff?
It's that one that The Ordinary.
Okay.
They have an Ordinary
Oh,
shop.
Ordinary is really good.
They're
and
so great, and it's so inexpensive. So I was thinking I might go pick up some few things there, which is like, you know, people are going to use it. It's not going to take up clutter. Even I'm like jokingly saying candles, but I do think a candle for a woman that you don't know well, a candle is the best thing that you can get. Who doesn't want a candle?
Yeah, and I generally feel like most scents I can tolerate or deal like it's not like you're getting a shit smelling candle.
Yeah.
Just the act of lighting a candle makes me feel like everything's going to be okay.
Self-care. Candles. I'm actually you came to my
so lame.
It's so self-care.
Yeah.
Well, you came to my apartment the other day and you were like one of the 3 people that's been in there.
Yeah, look, you guys have to check out Katie's apartment.
You guys have to come. But yeah, I've been on a tear of buying candles and it's just I just love it. I have like 4 candles now and every week I'm like, I'm just going to buy 1 candle a week. I'm going to use them because I just want to have I just love having tons of candles and stuff like that. I think it just makes the space so like cool.
And the warm light that it gives off, like if you turn your lights off in your bathroom and light a candle, you feel so decadent. And I even still like doing this. I like to put on a little Enya.
Oh, a little mood music.
A little 90s
Setting the
mood.
Setting the mood. Should we talk about our main topic, side hustles? I feel like we have enough time to get into it.
All right, guys, this is our main topic for today. I think a lot of women, do I say that? I don't know. I always feel like I say it wrong because I get corrected. So ladies,
ladies,
I think
and
a lot
those with a feminine spirit.
With a feminine spirit, absolutely. I think we do a lot of side hustles. We do a little extra income coming in. I've been guilty of it. I do Poshmark.
Yes.
I've decided that it's a waste of money just to like drop your clothes off at Goodwill. I think you can turn some of your items at least into money, or like credit on Poshmark and then get something.
Yeah.
You can find some really great deals, but there are some, I find like there's downsides to side hustles.
Absolutely.
You really, when you sign up for a side hustle, you're thinking, am I going to be one of those people that pulls in like 100,000 extra?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Like,
This is like the what we were talking about with the Lula Rich
Yeah.
one, where it's like, oh, you just get like the star in your eye of like, oh, because this person made like $65,000 a year on leggings, like I could do it too, and then
Yeah.
and that's how you end up like just going into debt.
I feel like those people, those are outlier situations.
Yeah.
I generally think most of us are breaking even. I don't mind doing Poshmark. The annoying thing about it is when you have to print a label.
Oh.
So my printer never works. It never syncs up to my computer. The ink, I'll buy it, and since I print every 6 months, it tends to just dry up. So I have to travel like a mile to print it.
Yeah.
Then I have to always make sure, like, order something from Amazon so I can get a free box delivered to my house. It's just like this constant,
Yeah.
like, is this working out for me? I don't think it is. Then I have to go to the, now I just found out if I do drop my mail off outside my door in the, like, foyer area, the mail guy will pick it up now.
Oh,
so I
that's
don't
good.
have to go.
You have the hacks for it.
Yes. So that was an annoying thing. But I've done, like, I've signed up for WAG. They always ask you in the most inopportune times, and that you have to travel to another borough that's like an hour out of your way, that you're like, the amount of time and energy I've spent to this is not worth the $15.
Wait, what's WAG?
WAG is a dog walking business.
Okay.
That was something that I thought about doing, just like, you know, oh, if I have time to kill during the day or in between
Yeah.
spots, maybe I
Yeah.
could do that. It was
Oh,
never.
meanwhile, you're on the train for 3 hours
Yeah.
round trip, going to like Bay Ridge to walk a dog for 20 minutes. And you're like, okay, well, I just made $3 an hour.
Yeah, this is awful. Exactly. That's all I find side hustles are, is basically slave labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get away with like, paying you way less than what they would if you were like consistently employed. I think because they have such like a high turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that too. Well, as we are like starting this lady journey as kind of a side hustle in the hopes that we can get a little bit of financial support from ads and stuff.
No pressure.
No pressure, but thank you to the people that are subscribing on Patreon. Thank you so much for letting me eat, and my family thanks you. They
For
thank
the
you
holiday
for the
season.
holidays. But I was talking about starting up a blog for this, and that's another thing where it's like you're front loading so much labor at the beginning. Like, okay, all I have to do is buy a WordPress account, set it up, spend 12 to 13 hours of creative time, which is like actually a week.
Yeah.
Just like writing the articles, creating the content. And I just have to do that like 2 or 3 times a month. And then maybe I'll see results, in like a year. And it's so many side hustles, I think you get like caught up in like, oh, this could be a great way for me to make money. And then you end up putting so much time and energy into it that it's like not even really sustainable.
No.
And then you actually lose money.
Yeah, and the risk of it is generally, like, percentage wise, I feel like most things don't hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's such a culture now, especially I see like on TikTok and people doing all these like articles of like, hey, I worked at a corporate job, but now me and my family of 4 just travel the world in a little van and we blog about it. And that's how we make $1 million a year. And if you follow me, you can do it too. And it's like all their content is just telling people how they could make money. And it's like, oh, this is like an evolution of like the pyramid scheme.
Yes, I agree. A lot of those, like, I'm a social media manager and I freelance from home and I've managed to pull in $600,000 a year from doing it. And then follow me for my tips. And it's really the way they're making money is just like, buy my book and I'll teach you how to set up what I did.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
No,
no,
you
thank
don't need to pay these people money.
No.
That's a grift.
It's a grift.
It's a grift.
It totally is. It's a modern grift that's like packaged under like, well, nobody wants to do like working in an office because it's a nightmare. And why would anybody want to? And any company, you know, all these companies are like, we're having a hard time getting employees because of COVID. It's like, well, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why nobody wants to work for $7 an hour at like Big Papa's barbecue where they're going to be treated like a total asshole.
Yeah. Asked to like, hey, can you come in an hour from now, drop everything that you've ever planned? So because I can't manage and I treated somebody else like shit and now they've quit and now you've got to come in
right
and work extra because I'm not going to do it.
And if you don't do it, then it's like, oh, well, then you're just like treated like the
garbage
next person.
Then they're like, well, we just don't see your energy. You're not energized to work here.
You're not prioritizing this job.
Yeah, which is just like coded language for we can't manipulate you the way we want to.
Yeah, it's like people are treated like they're disposable, and then when they want to, you know, not work, then they are getting caught up in all these, you know, if they want to have like their own business.
Yeah.
And then like the company's complaining that they can't find anybody. It's like, well, pay people a living wage. And like expect professionalism from the people that are in like management positions.
Absolutely. And the whole thing of like, you need to come in early and wait, you mean like work for free?
Right. That always drives me nuts. And the thing too is like middle management, you always have to find somebody that has like a narcissistic tendency and gets off on telling people what to do. Otherwise they won't work for what you're willing to pay them. You know? So it's like you just end up with these like psychos who are like, and we're going to meditate every morning. So come 15 minutes early and I'll be leading a guided meditation. It's like we work at a box office.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to meditate to sell tickets for the Lion King.
I'd rather sleep in those extra 15 minutes at home than to listen to you talk one more minute.
Yeah. So but have you heard of this thing that's like the Great Resignation?
I have, and I actually get it because I have temped several times. I've worked in offices a lot, and I have yet to find a company. There are a few that I think are actually great people. Mm-hmm. I worked for this property management company, and they had two guys that they let come in late all the time, never did work. The one guy, his one tactic, he would just have lunch on his desk all day long. Oh. So there was no way, like you always felt uncomfortable to be like, it felt like you were coming in on his lunch break. He'd always be like, I have a dentist appointment in Westchester, and it would be 4 hours long. Never did anything. And then it was just like this weird cancer in the office because they never fired them. And then I felt like all the females had to do all the work in there.
Yeah. It ends up getting like that. And I think like there's like corporate culture where it's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil and those people get taken care of. And then the people that like don't say anything, you just push them until they break. Yeah. And then that's how they just kind of like get away with, you know, getting the most out of everybody.
Oh, it was like, and then, because of pandemic, because I guess that's where the Great Resignation is happening, is because I got paid unemployment, and it was better than what I was getting paid by these guys. I didn't know my worth. Yeah. I had no idea. And I actually did a lot for this company. Like, I would find buildings where they double spent $50,000 in their water bill. Yeah. They had no idea. And I was getting paid less than unemployment, where I was like, I'm actually saving these buildings money by finding like,
I saved you $50,000 and I don't even get like a bonus.
Yeah. Accounting discrepancies. Like it was such a frustrating ordeal. The only thing that I liked about them is they were all about like you got there at 8 or 9 and you got to leave at 5. Like they were never like about working on the weekend or dealing with that. That was the good thing. The only problem was like a lot of companies just let really bad people work there for a long time, and it's so bad.
It's so bad. And it's like, and I would never want to be in any kind of like managerial position, because then it's like you're ending up having to deal with people that like just don't really want to do anything. Yeah. It's kind of on you to like either threaten them or like coerce them. It's like, what a nightmare.
It is. Know? I always say when you're managing, you're basically just kind of trying to round up feral cats. Nobody wants to work. Like, I was talking about this with my brother the other day. You know that guy, he was in a production company here in New York. He was actually well known, but he had to get taken like a timeout. He didn't Me Too, but he was like throwing computers at his employees.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is, but he was like
Rudin, Scott Rudin.
Scott Rudin. He was like a big time
producer,
TV producer. And he was like, he basically like abused. I mean, it wasn't basically. He literally abused his employees. He would like, he smashed like a guy's hand down. The guy had to get stitches.
Yeah.
And there was like this like code of silence in the office where it was like everybody is there because they want to be in the industry, and they just take this abusive behavior because they have no alternative.
Absolutely. And you're feeling like, well, I'm working with Scott Rudin. That's like a really great thing to put on my resume. And I'll only endure this physical abuse for about 2 more years.
Yeah. It's like when people move to New York and they would be like immigrants in like the 20s. And you had to go through like the tenement system for 10 years. And then it would be like, now you have enough saved to move out to Long Island. But it's like, that's like kind of the culture of New York City, I think, where it's like
light abuse.
Yeah. And stand up is like that too. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many open mics I sat through where people were saying like rape jokes, like, bold-faced racism.
Yes.
Like just sitting in the back being like, what the hell? But it's like, if you like, what are your choices? Your choice is like to quit stand-up and as a protest.
Yeah.
Or your choice is to like endure it and then like finally move up and away from it. So like, you know, now I don't have to experience that. I mean, as much.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. And then some of these people are considered comedic geniuses, which I feel like that term is bullshit. Nobody's a comedic genius.
Oh my God. It's not
really.
like basketball.
I know.
People are like, he's the Michael Jordan. Really?
Yeah.
He's talking about farting.
I know.
So.
And he's a psycho and treats the wait staff like shit. And
it's always men.
Yeah.
If there's any other like clue that you need that it's total BS.
Actually, yeah. And they're just stonewalling you in conversation. It's just like, or confrontational all the time. And just like, I'm just tired. I hear every now and then somebody, like a comic, there's a comic that I admire, I think Ted Alexandro. He'll just like get up and leave and not just sit at another table. And I'm like, I need to be doing stuff like
great.
that.
He's
like,
so great.
Just forming boundaries with these psychos.
Yes. Yeah. Just leaving. But it's like, you know, this is all part of it. It's all part of like why people are like, I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to work for a company that treats me like shit. I don't want to be taken advantage of. But then you end up starting your own side hustle, and then you get like taken advantage of by this side hustle culture.
Yeah, they're really, or they'll just be like, well, if you're not producing those numbers, it's like up to you. And you're like, I don't know.
It's the same thing as it's really
Rich.
It's like, yeah, if you ladies can't sell these moldy leggings, that's on you.
Yeah.
Get on Facebook Live and sell these leggings, the pizza leggings. It all comes back to the pizza leggings.
I know, you're like, I just want to work a 9 to 5. I just want to get paid the appropriate amount of money. I don't feel like I'm asking for much, like just a livable wage to live in New York City.
And to not be like constantly barraged by other people's like issues.
Oh, you're dealing with all, like working in an office, you're dealing with everybody's mental illness. Like this guy, the one guy that would always show up late, the worst temper tantrum I've ever heard. Just slamming phones down the whole time. Just yelling nonstop. I always want to share this one. This is something that he did that made me laugh so hard. For Secret Santa, he goes,
that's the other thing, like corporate culture. It's like, let's all give each other presents. Like, what? I need my money for my family, please.
No, I don't want a pizza party. I want a bonus check.
Yeah.
But he would be like, okay, guys, this year instead of Secret Santa, I want you to donate to my charity, and it's to help Palestine. And you're like, like, you picked the most controversial thing that has divided our nation and most people down the line into volatile like debates online, and you're wanting to choose
Santa's
Palestine.
Already uncomfortable for Jewish people to begin with. Now they have to be like, okay.
Well, our boss was Jewish, although he converted to Catholicism.
Oh, interesting
which I was
move.
like, I know, I was like, fascinating.
Yeah.
I think I would have I just preferred Judaism.
What is that arc?
fascinated by that. But he took it in stride. He was just like, whatever. But it was like, that would be the equivalent of me being like, hey, everybody, I don't want you to I don't want Secret Santa. Just like donate to so teenage girls can get abortions this year. Like,
Yeah. Or the opposite. Just donate to stopping Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's just my jam this
That's
year.
just what I want. For Christmas, I want a young girl to be forced to carry a baby to term that she can't really provide for.
Absolutely. It's really important to me that this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. These like people have the wildest behavior in the office, which I do live for. I love talking
fun.
about it, but
office
when you're
psychos.
dealing with it is awful.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is like most offices in New York are an open floor plan, so you're just getting sick 4 or 5 times out of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I worked in an office where it wasn't really an office. It was an enrichment center for children, but it was completely corporate culture. Every like corporate culture trick they like in the book they like played on us, and it was exactly that open floor plan. You're interacting with everybody, but it was mostly women, so it was like all the neuroses. And I did work with some incredible women there that I formed like lifelong friendships with, and I adore them. And but it would be like, and someone is crying. Someone's having a breakdown in the corner, and you just have to be like, hey, are you okay? Because it's not good for the kids.
Yeah, you need to get, there's a show that I liked, a reality show with Kelly Catrone, and she coined a phrase of like, if you're gonna cry outside. And I think she wrote a whole book, and I absolutely believe in that. Like, hey, it's okay to cry. You just have to go outside and cry.
Just go. Yeah. Although I have to say, like, there would be like so much bad behavior tolerated from male employees, and I would just be like, well, you know what? If I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna cry then, and nobody's gonna say shit to me.
Absolutely.
So I might as well abuse it.
Yes, because that was like when that Jeffrey Toobin guy got busted for masturbating, that I was like, oh, can we cry in the office now? Because if that's making us feel uncomfortable, then I should be able to do my thing that makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, crying because I just found out that like I did not get a raise. I got like cut. My pay got cut.
Yes. And then the guy that shows up late is getting a raise or like promoted.
I remember I was so upset when I found out I got like capped. My money got capped at the school I was working at because I didn't want to go into like a managerial position, and I was like, I didn't have a bad hourly rate, but and then right around that time I found out a guy who was just hired was making the same amount of money. Yeah. And I had been working there for about 7 years at that time, and he got hired at the same rate. And I was like, oh wow, it's so true. It's so true. I started
really
working there for $10 an hour. Yeah. I mean, it was 2008 that I started working there, but still,
even then, like I'm like, that's still pretty low for New York City and for what
you're doing. It's like highly intensive. It's very intensive labor to be like
psychotic.
Someone's peeing their pants and you have to take care of it. It's like for $10 an hour.
No.
So
Lady
Journey. I think that we're gonna have to wrap up because we went so far on this.
Do not get me started on office culture.
Oh my gosh,
it's one of the most absolutely psychotic things I've ever been a part of. It's fun to talk about it because it's a wild ride, but like
it's like a social experiment. It's like the Harvard.
It's fucked up, and I'm
all
for
Stanford. Yeah.
Yes, I'm all for people that are like putting their foot down and saying, if I can work from home, I'm working from home.
Yes, but just don't get caught up in all these different things where you feel like, oh, you're like winning the lottery. It's going to be a miracle. You're going to be a millionaire. However, if you have a side hustle and you're interested in us, send it to us and we'll talk about it on Lady Journey. I'm all for promoting, people's stuff.
Oh my God. If you know what a great side hustle is, that's like not as time consuming, but something to do while you're killing time, like I'm all for that.
Let us know. Send it to us at ladyjourneypodcast@gmail.com and send us emails. We love to hear from you guys. And if you have like an insane office story, send that too, because that would be really fun to share.
Yeah, I'd like to share. We could do like a Reddit about this stuff.
Oh, that would be fun.
People
love it. Lady Journey. Thank you everybody for listening. Give us 5 stars. I'm Katie Hannigan.
I'm Sarah Talamash.
Lady Journey.